As you watch the cost of everything around you go up and your savings feel like they're melting away, there's a small group of people who are not only calm, they're celebrating. Because, while inflation is a problem for the world's billionaires, it's a tool. They're using a financial playbook to turn rising prices into a machine for generating massive wealth. And in this video, we're going to break down exactly how they do it. Let's get one thing straight. Inflation isn't just about your grocery bill getting higher. That's a symptom. The real issue is the devaluation of your money. Every dollar you have in a savings account is a little less powerful than it was yesterday. It's like trying to fill a bucket that has a slow, silent leak. You feel like you're working harder, but you're stuck in the same place. This dynamic became supercharged after 1971, when the US dollar's direct convertibility to gold was ended. This move gave central banks more flexibility, but it also meant that the creation of new money was no longer tied to a physical commodity. While money creation isn't literally unlimited, it's constrained by central bank policies and other economic factors. This flexibility is key. When the money supply expands significantly over time, it can lead to inflation, eroding the purchasing power of cash. For the average person, this can be a nightmare. Your savings get crushed and your financial security feels like it's slipping through your fingers. But for those who understand the rules of this new game, this constant devaluation isn't a crisis, it's an opportunity. So how is it possible that the same force that drains your wealth can multiply the fortunes of the ultra-rich? A big part of the answer lies in a nearly 300-year-old economic theory called the Cantalon effect, named after the 18th century economist Richard Cantillon. The theory describes how new money enters an economy. It doesn't get distributed evenly to everyone at once, like rain falling on a field. Instead, it's injected at specific points, often closest to central banks and large financial institutions. The individuals and institutions who get this new money first, or are positioned closest to where it enters the system, like the financial markets, can use it before it has fully circulated and caused widespread price increases. They get to buy up assets like stocks and real estate at pre-inflation prices. By the time that new money trickles down to the average person in the form of wages, the prices of many goods and assets have already gone up. This means their purchasing power is effectively reduced. While economists debate its scale and impact, the Cantalon effect offers a powerful explanation for how inflation can contribute to a transfer of wealth to those who own assets. This is the knowledge that forms the foundation of the billionaire playbook. For most people, debt is a burden. A mortgage, a car loan. It's a chain that holds you back. But for the wealthy, debt can be a weapon. They understand a simple but profound truth. When inflation is unexpectedly high, holding fixed-rate debt can be very advantageous. Here's how it works. A wealthy investor or firm borrows, let's say, $100 million at a low fixed interest rate. They don't use this money to buy liabilities like fancy cars. They use it to purchase income-generating and appreciating assets, things like apartment buildings, stocks, or entire businesses. Now, inflation starts to run hot. Let's say it averages 5% a year. The real value of that $100 million they borrowed is now decreasing each year. Meanwhile, the assets they bought with that borrowed money are potentially increasing in value. The rents from their apartment buildings can go up, the companies they own can raise their prices, and their profits may grow. They are paying back a loan with dollars that are becoming cheaper over time, while the assets they bought with that loan are becoming more valuable. Inflation is literally eroding the real value of their debt for them. This isn't an accident, it's a deliberate strategy. Some call borrow, buy, die, where they leverage their wealth, buy more assets, and then pass them on with significant tax advantages. The second and most crucial part of the playbook is a mindset shift. Stop just saving money and start owning assets. The wealthy understand that while cash loses purchasing power to inflation, the right assets can preserve and grow wealth. What assets do they prioritize? First, real estate. Property can be a classic inflation hedge. When an investor buys a commercial building or rental homes with a fixed-rate mortgage, their biggest cost, the loan payment, is locked in. But as inflation rises, so can the rents they charge. Their income goes up while their main cost stays fixed. This strategy is so prevalent that some large firms like Blackstone have become massive corporate landlords, buying up tens of thousands of residential units. This has raised concerns about the impact of large-scale institutional investment on housing costs and affordability for regular people. Second, stocks of pricing power companies. Billionaires like Warren Buffett don't just buy any stock. During inflationary times, they often focus on businesses with what Buffett calls pricing power. These are dominant companies that can raise their prices to cover rising costs without losing customers. Think of companies with incredibly strong brands or that sell essential products. These businesses can act as a royalty on the economy. As prices go up everywhere, their revenues can go up too, boosting their stock prices. Third, gold and commodities. When confidence in paper money wavers, some of the world's most sophisticated investors turn to the oldest form of money, gold. Billionaire investor Ray Dalio calls gold a hedge against the currency devaluation that can result from massive government debt and money printing. He argues that gold is one of the few assets that isn't someone else's promise to pay. When faith in currencies falters, the value of finite, tangible assets like gold and other commodities often rises. Dalio suggests that allocating a portion of a portfolio to gold can be a safeguard against these kinds of systemic risks. At its core, this playbook isn't just about having billions of dollars. It's about adopting a different mindset. It's the shift from being primarily a consumer to being an owner. While most people are focused on earning a salary and saving what's left, the wealthy are focused on owning the systems that everyone else uses. They own the apartment buildings people rent, the companies people work for, and the brands people buy from. They see the economy not just as a place to earn, but as a board game to be played. And inflation for them is simply one of the rules of that game. A rule that, if you know how to use it, can be incredibly profitable. They understand that leverage, using borrowed money, multiplies returns, and that long-term ownership of quality assets is the ultimate path to compounding wealth. Understanding this playbook is the first step. It's about recognizing the forces that shape your financial reality. If you want to keep learning the rules of money and how to build a system for your own financial freedom, make sure you subscribe. And I have a question for you. Which of these strategies was the most surprising? The idea of using debt as a weapon, or the focus on specific assets like companies with pricing power? Let me know in the comments below. The hard truth is that as long as our financial system allows for significant money creation, the potential for inflation is here to stay. It's not a temporary crisis, it's a quiet, invisible feature of the modern economy. For the vast majority, it's a headwind, constantly pushing them back. But for the few who understand its mechanics, it's a tailwind, propelling their wealth to new heights. They aren't necessarily smarter than you. They're just playing a different game with a different set of rules. But now, you know the playbook. And understanding that playbook is the first and most powerful step toward changing your own financial destiny. It moves you from being a pawn in the game to a player.